if you look at Real ID and its rollout, it is a mishmash that's going to make even the federal government's effort to homogenize state identity credentials look ridiculous. And so, who's going to step up and provide a wonderful solution to the inefficiencies of government and the inability of our government to meet the desperate
Ah,
need for secure identity systems? You're going to have the private sector step up.
yeah.
And so that's why I think it's really interesting to look at how Real ID is inextricably tied to efforts to travel or what's needed to travel and the TSA. So we know that TSA is under DHS. So
Yeah.
Transportation Security Administration is under the Department of Homeland Security. So you would think that they might have aligned visions of what's needed to secure our domestic air travel infrastructure, right? You might think that those two would go together. So, and Real ID is their initiative, DHS.
Yeah.
So and one of the main use cases for Real ID, or one of the cases that is necessitating our need to have that little badge on state IDs, is to protect domestic air travel, right? So it says, if you don't get the Real ID by May 7th, you will not be able to travel domestically on an airline. You will not be able to access military bases, some federal buildings and or sites, and nuclear power plants. you know, so it's actually a pretty limited group of situations that would necessitate anyone having the Real ID badge. The big
Well,
one
but I
that's
mean,
going to
if you
affect the
want to,
most people is the air travel, right?
correct. Yes.
And so that's why I think, okay, let's look at what TSA has required so far and what TSA has done, because TSA, remember, is under the Department of Homeland Security. They are already noticing that they're going to have problems, so they're talking about sort of loose or discretionary enforcement of Real ID requirements to travel, for another 2 years. So, what I see, to sum this big picture up, is that you have a big mess brewing, and someone's going to have to come in and clean up the mess. And they're going to say, Real ID isn't sufficient. Clear isn't sufficient. TSA pre is not sufficient. We need a new solution. And America 2025, I might add, it explicitly mentions privatizing TSA. Now, why do I keep talking about TSA? It's because air travel is the major reason why anyone would get the Real ID.
Yeah.
So there's something going on here.